Okay, Marianne.
Yeah,
Put
you
on.
You tell Marianne that you have things that you have to do.
I have
That you're doing
things
things.
I have to do, like.
You have a couple of stories.
Well,
a couple stories that you have to tell.
To tuck my phone in the couch. Why the hell are we doing this? Why are we sharing a couple of stories?
Because we like talking a lot.
I do like talking. That was my.
And we've told these stories to people before, and generally when we tell them, some people find them entertaining or amusing. So I think that's why we're doing it.
It's just all for us ourselves. I think it's just nice to have these like recorded, so when we do lose our complete shit when we're older,
I'll lose my. I already don't.
We'll just replay them. Like this was really what happened to us.
I'll argue against photographic proof. Like I'll be like, that's not how I remember it, and someone will show me a photo, and they'll be like, no, this is the.
Someone
this
is Kristen.
Yeah, Kristen will show me a photo. She'll be like, no, this is exactly what happened. Look, there's proof, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that shirt was green, not red. And she'll be like, dude.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, I refuse to acknowledge that version of reality.
A couple. What is it actually?
A couple stories.
A couple stories.
A couple stories.
Mm-hmm.
We're a couple.
We already did this joke.
And here's a story. Mm-hmm. For this story, I genuinely had a moment where I wasn't sure if I was going to live through the tour.
We did.
Like, there was a moment where I was like, well, this is where I leave you,
It was a beautiful moment between the two of us.
At least we were there together.
In a dark basement.
With the lights. Okay,
we're
getting ahead of ourselves.
Let's Tarantino this.
Yeah.
We just have been together for so long. It's like we're like twins that try to finish each other's sentences sometimes, and sometimes we're very off.
I don't like the twins.
I'm using the word we.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay, so we go on anniversary trips pretty much every anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it's a road trip or it's, we've gone overseas a few times. So anyways, year 4, we decided that we wanted to go to Portland.
Yeah.
So we go to Portland and
Oregon.
Yeah. Our anniversary is in the fall.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why we
September.
kind of always have like some ghost adventure stuff.
It just feels like a very fall thing to do.
Yeah. Okay, so Portland.
We don't talk like that.
We ended up in Portland.
Portlandia. We ended up in Portland on purpose.
On purpose. So we decided, carrying on this tradition, we're going to do a ghost tour. We stayed at the Ace Hotel right when it started to become really cool. It was only a couple of years old. We also camped on Cannon Beach, which was really awesome. There's like a nice little campground. I'm telling you guys these things because this is gonna fill out our time and story.
Well, no,
just
that's
a bit.
also just there. We didn't
We're only
just go
going
to Portland
for
ghost time or ghost tour. Like, I think that's why you're feeling like there's other beautiful, cool things that we were doing while we were there too. We just happened to go on a ghost tour that
we walked in the rain.
Yeah, we ate at Foster Burger.
Oh, I forgot about Foster Burger.
I didn't. It was a big part of the trip eating at Foster Burger, and this may or may not be cryptic for a reason.
That's a
different story.
Different story.
Anyways. Went to Portland. We stayed at the Ace Hotel. We're gonna do some Portland stuff. You know what I mean? Like
some ghost hunting. Portland.
We hate standing in line, so we really wanted to try Voodoo Donut, but we were like, we're not gonna spend 3 hours of our 3 days here, waiting in line for a donut. So we found out that if you did this ghost tour, this particular one, every tour ended with the Voodoo Donut. So we were like, there it is. We get to go on a ghost tour. We don't have to wait in line for the donut. We get the donut. So it was.
We don't know why we can cut the line.
It was a 2 birds, 1 stone type of deal with the donuts and with the ghost tour. So I'm just, this is our motivation for going into it. We love ghost hunting.
It was
some of my best friends are ghosts.
So I also want to say that there wasn't many ghost tour options. Maybe it's not.
There was maybe 2.
Yeah. So what's really cool about Portland is that all the old taverns and bars, and that's what spawned this whole thing. I still don't know if this part of the story that I'm telling you about Portland is actually accurate. I think there's people that argue all the time about this, but it's the Shanghai.
Oh, right. Yeah. The Shanghai thing happened.
Yeah, Shanghai.
Apparently they're the ports, because it's a port city.
Yeah. So apparently the rumor is that in some of the bars and taverns and restaurants and probably brothels and whatever, you would be drinking, partying, and pass out. And since they were...
Well, so the way that it was is
how am I
that
telling
the city had I'm probably messing this up too, and anyone who wants to comment
online and tell us,
explain
I'm
how
sure,
wrong
I'm sure
we are,
we
that's
are.
great.
We know.
Tell us how wrong we are. We know we're kind of wrong. But the basic idea was that part of the city was built underground because all of the shipping with the boats and the docks would pull up kind of like into these like loading docks or whatever that were a little lower than ground level in the city. So they had all these tunnels and these underground like means for loading these ships so that it wouldn't actually happen on ground level within view. So they had all these underground tunnels. So what would happen is you'd drink too much, you know, maybe they'd club you, knock you out, maybe you passed out because you were drunk. You'd wake up on a boat headed to Asia somewhere to be like sold
next stop
into
is
human
Shanghai.
trafficking. Yeah. So you'd
Be
literally
a slave,
be
you'd be-
passed
yeah,
out, and then
yeah.
all of a sudden you are now being sold to someone. So this was something that apparently historically would happen.
That it's
would
the I
happen
think
there.
it's
Or
the
it's like the
rumor
rumor.
or the folklore.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
so that we were like, oh, well, I bet there's some messed up, scary stories there. Like that's gonna make for some interesting ghosts.
Yes.
So we found this ghost tour again, Voodoo Donut, and it was the ghost tour started at a pizza place that was considered haunted and is also considered one of the places where Shanghaiing happened.
Right.
And the tour started there because the pizza place was one of the said rumored places where the basement where Shanghaiing would happen.
The pizza must have been really good because if the pizza place that I'm going to has rumors of people disappearing after eating there, I don't know that I'm going to have that pizza.
It was still light out, and I remember being like, it needs to get dark. I want to be like freaked out. Yeah. But so anyways, we're waiting at the pizza place. They kind of know we're the weirdos waiting for the ghost tour. Our ghost
Mostly
tour
because
guy.
we had a sign on us that said we're waiting for the ghost tour.
Yeah.
No,
I think we asked.
did
I think we
actually.
asked. I think we were like, "Where's the ghost tour? Where do we meet?" And they're like, "Just have a beer because you're like 20 minutes early."
Yeah.
So, anyways, the tour guide comes in, and we're like, "Man, there's nobody else in our box, like
our
where
tour.
everybody's waiting.
one else
Supposed
is
to be
there for
waiting
our
for the
tour."
ghost tour. Is everyone just going to be coming? Like, where are they coming out at? Are we really the only two losers who are going to do this ghost tour or want to do this ghost tour?"
The answer is yes. The best part, though, is that our tour guide, even after hearing, because this is our shtick, right? Who are you guys? Oh, we're the Barkers. What are your names? Chris and Kristen. Oh, that's easy. Yeah, I was only dating Kristens. We do that. If you know us or met us in person, we've probably said that.
We've said that joke.
Potentially. So
Because
we do
we
that
really
joke.
were only dating Chris's before we found each other.
I mean,
so.
this was somehow separately. We both had the same life plan. I don't know how. That's probably why we're so good together.
That's why.
But-
we're the same.
But so we do the whole Chris and Kristen shtick, and she's like, "Oh, that's funny. Here's name tags," and we're like, "Name tags." Like we just told you our name was Chris and Kristen. We're the only two people on this tour. You can't remember the same name for two people that you just met. It's like, okay.
So we put our
So we-
name tags on.
We slapped those name tags on, and now we feel real silly.
Oh, another part of the ghost tour. What was also fun about this one?
They gave you
They
ghost
gave
hunting
you
devices.
ghost hunting tools.
They did.
And so these devices. So
They gave us like the EMF devices.
yeah, the EMF reader. She had these sticky thing, like the little.
Like I think they're like the water finding sticks or whatever. That's like, and they're like, yeah, whatever.
She had another thing that like made music or like ding, like it, whatever. She came with the bag of tricks, and we were like, sparkly. It sounded great. We were like, yes.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now we are definitely Ghostbusters.
It felt real for the first time in a long time, I think. You know, like it reinvigorated our passion for ghost hunting.
Well, I felt like we made it.
Yeah.
I was like, we are. Well,
She invited us to come back and like lead the tour afterwards. Like that's how good we did at being on the tour. Like we were so good at touring.
all right. So we were very jazzed, very excited about these ghost hunting tools.
Yes.
So we're walking around Portland
With a stranger.
with a stranger, just
Holding
the two of us.
things that she gave us.
With our name tags. So that all of Portland can
Knows
be
that
like,
we're
yo,
Chris
Chris
and
and Kristen. And so I'm just hoping this woman doesn't forget our names either.
Yeah, I'd be embarrassed.
So we, she's taking us to different places, and we're like, this is really cool, like just telling us like all the stories. And so we get Voodoo Donut after like towards the end of the tour. I think she gives it to you at the end of the tour. We had a very awkward experience. Well, maybe not very, but pretty awkward. This whole act is already strange. And we're like, oh, we're going to get the Voodoo Donut. So, guys, the way she would get the Voodoo Donut and you could cut the line, which this line at the time was
like 2-3 blocks long or something.
It was like
stupid.
when Voodoo Donut was just
it was like on
over.
some food show or something like the previous summer or something. I don't know.
So anyways, she's like, you guys wait here, wait in line. What? We weren't supposed to wait in any line.
Like this was not part of the deal.
This wasn't part of the deal.
I don't.
But she's like, you wait in the line. I'm gonna go. And I'm like, is she leaving us here? And then we're just going to be, like, waiting in line for a Voodoo Donut? And then have to pay for the Voodoo Donut? Like, what? I'm so scared. So it's, like, maybe 10 minutes. Maybe less. I don't know. It's been a long time ago. And she comes back with 2 Voodoo Donuts. And then she, but we kind of see her come out kind of through the back with her donuts. She knows a worker that was working at that moment. So she texts the people, and they're like, yeah, I'm there. And they meet her in the back to give her the 2 donuts. But you could not put an order in. They were literally only giving you
the 2 donuts, which were the maple glazed bacon.
Yeah. Back to
so we're ghost hunting. We're walking around. She's telling us stories. We're like, ooh, this is cool. Beep, 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 beep,
yep.
beep,
So she's like, okay, so I really like you guys, and our tour is only supposed to be an hour long. How long do you guys have? And we're like, apparently we ate dinner. We ate dinner,
lady,
so
we can do this all night. You know what I'm saying? We're like,
how
long
that,
you got?
Well, I was like, we know that we're supposed to go at 3 a.m.
Yeah,
and
do you
it's
want to make
only
this a
like
6-hour thing?
It's like 9 o'clock, so I'm a little confused here. So anyway, she was like, we're gonna go to this one hotel. Sometimes I take people there, sometimes I don't, since it's just the 2 of you, and it's been a lovely tour. I'm gonna up
She's
it.
Like, I like you guys.
I like you guys.
I'm gonna show you. This
and
one
also, I think we impressed her with
our extensive knowledge of ghosts and the paranormal.
She takes us to this hotel. She's being a little she was very anxious. I think she was just a kind of an anxious, hyper person in general. So some of her mannerisms, I just kind of were like.
But she was looking behind her a lot all of a sudden.
So she was like,
and we're oh, this place must really be haunted. Really,
she's scared.
She's she's really looking out. And it's like a big hotel, pretty hotel.
So the elevators open, and she's like, okay, come on, get on, just rushing us into the elevator. So we're like, okay. So we get into the elevator. Then she takes us to this one area, and we're walking around with our ghost hunting tours, and there's a wedding going on. And so we did get a couple of looks.
I remember she was like, there's this lady that they sometimes see over here on the balcony, or sometimes they're walking here, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. This is good stuff.
Yeah, so she's telling us, you'll hear kids, and a kid runs by, but it was a real kid, not a ghost child.
Yeah, there were lots of real people in our experience at this place. There were many real people.
So anyways, the elevator opens again. She's like, all right, you know what? I think she actually kept me on the floor and was like, you guys go over here. And then she was like, then came back up and was like, all right, we're going to go down this other spot.
She's like, quick, let's go over. There's elevators here. So we're like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And she's scooching us into these elevators. We're
pushing us again.
We're like, looking around, shoving us in this elevator.
We don't know.
Well, and then I remember we got on the elevator, and all of a sudden we're going down to, I think, the basement. And we're like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah.
The basement.
So then
So we get in, and the elevator, stops. So that was super weird.
The doors open, and it's a workout room. It's like the gym.
Yeah,
it's
so she took us down into the gym, and then she starts telling us
I was like,
story.
I bet there's some scary stuff happening here.
Yeah, and the whole time she's telling us about this haunting in the basement of the gym or whatever, there's this dude on an exercise bike.
Detector was
going off.
Beep, 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 beep. I mean, it was crazy. Going off.
But we're standing in front of
I look up and I realize
this glass gym, and there's this guy, I don't remember if it's a treadmill.
He was on a treadmill. He was just
and he's just running and looking at us while we're standing there. This lady's telling us a story and gesturing to him, basically.
Yes. So then all of a sudden, I'm like, yeah, beep, 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 beep. I hear hey, you. We told you not to come back here anymore.
Yeah. You gotta lean back for that line. We told you not to come back here anymore.
We told you not to come
Literally,
back here anymore.
it's like you get like Paul Blart, mall cop, is like all of a sudden in the distance yelling at you that you're not supposed to be here, and she's like, "Oh no, guys, we gotta go."
No, but at this moment, my
Yeah,
detective
the
is going
beep, 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 beep,
and
or whatever.
I turn into him, and he's just going off, and I'm looking at him, and it's going off,
real?
and then I'm like, and he's yelling at me like, I don't even know. I heard trespassing. Magically, the elevator opens, and she goes, "Come on, guys, we gotta go," and then like shoved us back into the elevator.
Yep.
And apparently, that was not allowed on the ghost tour.
Apparently, it used to be a very popular stop on the ghost tour, and then the hotel asked them to stop bringing the tours there. And I think she thought that because it was just the two of us that she could get away with it. We did not get away with it. We didn't get away with it, but we also didn't get in trouble. We just left really quickly, and it was honestly, it was kind of exciting. We were trespassing on a ghost tour that we paid to go on, which is I'm confused.
I really do remember we were trying to be like, we could just leave you at Voodoo Donut, and we're good.
We're like good.
Done,
She was
right?
like, "Oh no, we have one
we
more stop, and then we're full circle." Guess where we go back to? The basement in the pizza place. The pizza place. The basement where people get shanghaied.
So then she brings us down there, and she shows us like circle of chairs.
The beams were wood. It was very low, cobwebs everywhere. Like it was, I could feel 10,000 spider eyes staring at me.
Yeah. So there was like a circle of chairs. So she obviously did know the pizza place, and they allowed her to do this down there. So she tells us that we're gonna sit in the chairs, and she's gonna finish telling us a ghost story of this place, this room actually, that people experience things. And she turns off the lights.
Turned off the lights to tell us a story. So now we're in this unfinished 200-year-old dirt floor basement with all these spiders in the dark with this lady we don't know.
Telling us ghost stories.
Who just made us trespass, and we're pretty sure she might have stolen those donuts from Voodoo Donuts. Like, we don't know.
Shady character.
Yeah.
And so, like...
She seems sweet. I don't know. High-strung, but sweet.
So,
Anxious.
I remember, like, our hands reached out, like, slowly.
Yeah, it was like slow squeezes. We're like, we're like
Yeah,
in Morse code. We're like, I love you.
you.
If I don't see you again after this, it was a lot of fun. It would have been nice to be married for a few more years.
Yeah, 4 is not enough.
Yeah,
It was
goodbye. Basically, we're like, goodbye.
Goodbye. And I was just waiting for the lights to, like, really go out. And then they turned on.
Yeah, then they turned on, and she was like, that's
Okay,
it for the
goodbye.
tour. And she was like, bye, have a good night. And we're like, what just happened?
Like, one eye open.
Yeah, as we slowly like walk our way back to the Ace Hotel.
Disoriented.
I think we're staying at the Ace Hotel in Portland.
People are now like, what was up with Foster Burger?
You'll never know. We'll never tell.
What's going on there?
We'll never tell. You have to have some secrets. Some
You
stories
have
are
to
meant
be,
to be kept
no,
to
you
yourself.
have to, like, yeah, I was going to say, or these are the
Told
ones
in
that I'm going
person.
to tell you in person.
Yeah. Ask me about Foster Burger in
Yeah,
person.
ask us about Foster person.
Foster
person.
Ask us about
Foster Burger. Thank you. And have a good one. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.